Okay, what's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Welcome to my live event, How to Be Free from Joint Pain in 2025. I'm amped up, guys. This is going to be an absolute blast. I hope you're excited. If you're excited to be here, just hit me up with some fire emojis in the Zoom comments, or maybe you're catching the live stream on YouTube because we're streaming over to YouTube because technology is great when it works, or maybe you're catching the replay. That's great too. If you're catching the replay, go ahead and drop some fire emojis in there and just put hashtag replay so that I know that you're catching the replay, and I can kind of know how y'all like to consume this content. Do you like it live? Do you like the replays? And even if you're watching the replay and you still have questions, pop those into the comments section and I'll still go back and answer them after the fact, okay? But either way, welcome. Hope you're having a great month so far. Super cold here in Austin, Texas. It was like 75 degrees like a week ago, and now it's freezing again. Think it's supposed to be 50 again tomorrow. So I don't know what's going on, man, but I'm excited to be here. I'm gonna work out after this, so I'm like extra amped up. So we're gonna rock this live event. If you've never been to one of my live events before, I want you to know this. I don't I don't do any fluff. I don't do any BS. I don't do any like partial truths, where it's like, hey, here's a nugget, but like I'm not gonna give you the good stuff. No, I drop the actual tools and tactics that I use with my clients to get wild, life-changing results for them. If you want that, just comment "I want that" in the chat there and just give me some love, okay? And we're gonna jump right in because why wait? Let's jump in, and I want you guys to walk away from this with actual usable tools that you can start applying right away to get free from aches and pains and be the strongest, healthiest version of yourself. I like to say that I turn people into pain-free, lifelong athletes. That's really my vision for what I do. I want to remove the restrictions and the limitations off of your life so that you can go do anything that you want to do. Run around with your kids and grandkids. Play your favorite sport on the weekends. Go hike a mountain and do epic things. Go on a missions trip that requires you to walk miles and miles and miles to help people. Like, I want you to be able to do those things that set you on fire, right? If you want that, let's jump in here, my friends. Here we go. I'm going to share my screen. There it is. All right, let me know if you're seeing that, guys. So, 3 steps to being strong, lean, and pain-free regardless of your age or background. That's really like what I boiled my training down to after working with hundreds of people in the last 18 years and like really going deep on what they want and what my crowd wants. I have nothing against any other coach. I love my fellow coaches. There's so many great ones out there, and we all do something a little bit different. And sometimes I'll send clients to them, or they'll send clients to me, or I have chiropractors and physical therapists and naturopathic doctors that send people to me and vice versa. And that's something that I find very valuable. I think it's really important to know what you do and also what you don't do. But if you want to be strong, if you want to be lean and be pain-free and become that lifelong athlete like I was talking about, then this is for you, okay? So our event today, 3 steps to being free from pain in 2025. If you have joint pain, I want you to just hit me up in the chat there and just let me know what is most challenging, what area, what muscle group, what joint is most challenging for you. And let me know how long you've been dealing with that. So you can say like my knees and it's been 6 months, or my shoulders and it's been 10 years, all right? Or my back and it's been 20 years since I played high school football and I still have it. Let me know in the chat there and we're gonna jump right in. As I said, I want you to come out of these live events with usable steps, not just, when someone asks you like, how was the meeting? And you're like, I don't really know. They're like, well, what did you talk about? And you're like, I don't know. Or maybe your kids, hey, how was school? And they're like, I don't know, it was fine. Oh, what'd you learn? And they're like, I don't know. I don't want that to be this experience, okay? I want you to come away from this going, man, I am upgraded and the rest of my life is going to be better because I hung out with Will for an hour. I take that very seriously, that you guys spend time with me, that you open up my emails, that you interact on my social media posts, that you work out in my programs. That stuff means a lot to me, and so I take it seriously, and I want it to make your life better, okay? If you apply what you learned today you have my word, you will change your life forever. And that's not just hype. That's not just optimism. It's because I see this all the time with men and women of all ages and levels. I'm talking all ages. I mean, I work with people that are 25-year-old elite athletes, and that's great. But I also work with people all the way up to 87. I have a bunch of people in their late 70s in my programs right now that are getting incredible results. It's for everybody. If you follow the steps, you will get the results regardless of your age or level. Guys ready? All right. A different approach to things you may have seen in the past. Let me know if you've ever done this before. So maybe you're playing rec league sports on the weekend. You play hockey, or you play flag football or volleyball or tennis, which I think is awesome, by the way. But then you get a little injury. You tweak your shoulder. And you say something like, I'm going to take some time off until this gets better. It's reasonable. It's logical. I get it. But that approach doesn't usually work for people. Usually they end up doing something like, okay, I took some time off. I got out of pain. Great. Now I'm going to go back and play my sport again. And then they go back and play tennis and they injure themselves again. They take time off. They wait till the pain goes away. They go back and play the sport because now they're pain free, and they injure it again. And it becomes this cycle, and it gets worse and worse to the point where sooner or later they just say, I can't do this anymore. I'm in too much pain. I'm injuring myself too often. It's getting worse and worse. I have to stop playing tennis. I have to stop playing rec league hockey, playing flag football, doing the things I really like to do. And again, after working with so many people over the years, this stuff's really emotional. It's deep. It's things that mean a lot to people, as it should, because life should be fun. It should be full of adventures. And so when people have to retire themselves earlier than they thought, it's a really big deal. I don't want that for you. Okay? So rather than just waiting till you get free of pain and then jumping back into the thing, I want you to approach it like this instead. I want you to start assessing the origin of the issue, which is the reason you got injured or tweaked in the first place. If you just wait till you get pain-free and then go back, you're not going to be strong enough to not get injured again. So you have to wait till you get pain-free. Yes, that's a good idea. But you also need to regain the strength that you lost. But you also need to go deeper and get more strength than you had at the beginning, because that's why you got injured. You weren't strong enough to do the thing that you were trying to do. I have a lot of conversations like this. People will tweak something. They'll be like, hey, well, I play softball on the weekends. It's one of my favorite things. I'm like, awesome. That's so cool. But my elbow hurts from throwing. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I have amazing elbow protocols. I'd be happy to help you. But first, what do your workouts look like each week? Just so I know, and so I can really help you the best. And they'll be like, I just told you, I play softball on the weekends. And I'm like, no, what your workouts? Like, I get it that you play this for fun. That's awesome. But like, what do your workouts look like? And they'll be like, oh, I don't work out. I just play softball on the weekends. So the problem with that is if you just play your sport, I'm just going to be blunt, your body's not going to be prepared to play that sport, especially if you're over 35. If you're over 35, but really at any age, even if you're 25 in your prime, you need to train to build a world-class foundation and to remove limitations off of your body and to make yourself durable so that you can go play your sports and activities and have adventures without injuring yourself. Plus, if an injury does happen and you're training properly, it's really easy for me to tweak things and adjust things so that you heal fast and so that you don't get injured again. But if you're not training, it's kind of like shooting in the dark. I can't help you as effectively if you're not working out, if all you're doing is playing your sport. So when you get tweaked, yes, get yourself pain-free, but also regain the strength that was lost when you injured yourself. And also, by all means, push that further so you get stronger than you ever were before, so you don't injure yourself again. That's where the good stuff is anyway. The people that really love the way that they feel, love playing sports, having adventures, feel empowered in their physical body, are not the ones that don't take this seriously. That just kind of maybe work out here and there if it's convenient, and just play their sport or their activity. They're the ones that actually train. I'm not talking about like you have to be a bodybuilder and be 2 hours in the gym every single day. I'm talking about a couple times a week. You train structured, progressive workouts. That's where the good stuff happens. But we'll get more into details, okay? Does this make sense? If this is making sense for y'all, hit me up in the chat there. Again, if you're watching live or if you're catching the replay, hit me up in the chat and let me know if this makes sense and if you've done that before where you play your sport and then you get tweaked and then you just wait for it to get pain-free and then you jump back in and you injure yourself again. It's a bad cycle, okay? I want you to get out of that cycle, and I'm going to show you how to do it today. First, here's a few of my favorite really recent testimonials. All right, this is serious business. These are real people with jobs and families and over 35, many of them, with stresses of life that they're managing that did amazing things in their training. Okay, so here's one of my favorites. This is Robert. He is an amazing realtor. He's got a wife, family, really hard worker, really humble guy. I loved working with him. He was one of those guys that would just do the work. If I suggested he try something, he'd go do it, and consequently, he got amazing results. He just turned 60. So he built this physique and got out of joint pain as he was turning 60. But anyway, he's a rec league hockey player, and he had so much hip and back pain, he was having to kind of like retire early. And again, it was emotional. Something he really likes to do. He gets to do it with his friends. It's an outlet, physically and emotionally, a really healthy thing. And we got him out of hip and back pain and back playing hockey. Like he texted me, he was like, dude, I think I'm gonna start playing hockey again. And he built an awesome physique, which wasn't even like our primary goal, as he's turning 60, which is so cool. All right, this is Carrie. Carrie, I like to say, is like filmmaker royalty in Arizona. Like he works with ASU, works with the Suns, does big commercials. Wonderful dude, and he's an avid hiker. He likes to do long, difficult, remote, like backcountry hikes in Arizona, like the Grand Canyon and Havasupai Falls and things like that require a significant capacity to perform and to be safe because you got to go out and then you got to get back. Anyway, he's bone on bone in one knee, and he was having to start to say no to his friends and family when they would invite him out to go hiking. And it was a really big deal because it's something that he loves. It's a form of fitness, but it's also something he just likes to be out there having adventures, And so it was really emotional. He was like, I'm in my mid 50s. I was planning on doing this for several more decades. And in one winter, despite being bone on bone, we got him out of knee pain and back doing long desert mountain hikes, pain-free. No surgery, no shots, no injections, nothing weird. He just followed the directions. This is Lauren. There we go. Lauren, in her words, had never been an athlete and never felt athletic. And now in her 50s, she's doing her first ever handstands. First ever handstands. I'm going to say that again. Like first time in her life, she felt confident to be like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to flip upside down against the wall and do a handstand. And she mentioned the other day, she was like, I think I might pick up a sport. I think I'm going to start playing tennis, which made me so happy. She like just started to think of herself like, I think I'm an athlete for the first time ever in her 50s. This is Sammy. This is, oh yeah, that's funny. It says Emily on both. This is Emily. This is Sammy. Sammy is a 15-year-old tennis phenom, and she's really tall. She goes to a wonderful tennis academy, and they do lots of reps. She'd built up some significant shoulder pain where she wasn't able to do her sport that she loves. She'd been to all these different specialists, really well-respected people at well-respected universities, and nobody could fix her. She came out and visited her sister who lives nearby, and so we got to train together for 2 weeks. And in those 2 weeks, we got her totally out of pain for the first time in years. One of the things we addressed was she's pretty tall, and a lot of young women deal with this where they feel self-conscious and she kind of slouch. And so I got her standing up tall. I had her breathe and stand on the wall with her back on the wall, which is something that we do with all of our clients. Fixed her posture, gave her exercises to fix that area, to retrain those patterns. And in 2 weeks, we got her out of pain, despite had been dealing with this for years. So you have to look at the origin of the issue, like I said. This is Emily. Emily had a tough go. She had been in a wheelchair and in a coma at various times in her life. And doctors were telling her that she wasn't going to be walking again. And despite that, we got her jogging again. She has metal in her right shoulder, right hip, right knee, and right ankle. It's a lot going on there, like some serious challenges. Things that would make most people go, I quit. I give up. But she's a special lady. She has grit. She has resilience physically and emotionally. And she was just like, she would come into training sessions and just go, I'm just going to try. That was her mindset. I'm going to try. I'm going to show up and give a good effort. The things that she could control. And consequently, she got crazy results. So it is possible, my friends, regardless of what you might be going through. Here, this is a good one. Michael, mid-60s, had 4 knee surgeries and is now back playing goalie for his hockey team, pain-free. This is Richard. He's 87. When he started, he could only go up and down stairs with both feet on each stair, like that, holding onto the rail. He had a bad old person hunch. He was on all these medications. And in one summer, we got him off a bunch of medications, going up and down the stairs with 1 foot on each stair without holding onto the rail. When the world tells him that he should be breaking down, he actually was getting stronger and considerably stronger. And then one of my favorites, this is my dad. He's 78 now. He still skis and rock climbs and outworks most people half his age. Absolute beast. So those are some of my favorites. That's what we do. There's a lot more. I just picked my favorites. So the list goes on and on because it's reliable. All right. This is how we make results reliable and efficient. And I don't know about you, but if I'm going to put in work in something, I like the results to be reliable. I don't want to be shooting in the dark hoping that I maybe get results. I want to be like if I do this, I'm going to get this. Okay? So I'm going to show you how to do this. You guys ready? Hit me up in the chat there and just say, I'm ready, if you're ready for the 3 steps. This is how to be pain-free in 2025. Hopefully this is stoking the fires of your passion and your expectation. I mean, one of the things that I like about testimonials like this is that it was people in all different ages. We got 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, athletes, non-athletes, men, women, people with high-powered jobs, people that are retired, people with big families, like legitimate stuff that they have to tend to. And they still got incredible results. Here's how we do it. 3 steps. And I'm going to break these down for you. But I want you to think about this. I want you to think about getting progressively stronger. And I want you to think about, bless you, my wife just sneezed, getting progressively longer. And then when you're ready, I want you to move fast. If your workouts don't help you do those 3 things, you're probably not getting the results that you want. I'm going to show you how to do this. Guys ready? Here we go. All right, number 1. This is like the basics. This is the absolute foundation of training. If you don't do this, you're probably not getting great results. If you do this, we can do just about anything that we want. Okay? Very, very important. So number 1, I want you to challenge yourself from session to session and from week to week to get progressively stronger. I know that sounds probably pretty obvious. People might be like, duh, but you'd be surprised how many people go to the gym day after day, week after week, year after year, and they're still doing the same old 3 sets of 10 with the same exercises and the same weight that they have always used. They haven't progressed. Now, this is a no judgment zone. I think it's great that people go to the gym. I get it. It can be a scary thing. You're busy. Showing up is a big deal. But the thing for me is I want you to get great results. I don't want you to waste your time and your money and your effort going to the gym and not seeing results. I want you to get results like these folks, where it changes your life forever and you never go back. Okay? So to do that, I need you to challenge yourself to get progressively and measurably stronger. Here's some ways to track that. This could look like performing more sets. Like if you can do 3 sets of 10 push-ups, and then you can do 5 sets of 10 push-ups, you've gotten stronger. More reps, that's pretty straightforward. If I can do 10 push-ups, and then all of a sudden I can do 20 push-ups, I've gotten stronger. More weight. If I can do a chest press for 10 reps with 50 pounds, and fast forward a year, and I can do a chest press for 10 reps with 100 pounds, you've gotten stronger, right? So those are all pretty straightforward and pretty measurable. Now, one that might be the most important, but is more difficult to measure and assess, is activating the correct muscles powerfully. What does that mean? Okay, so I was using a push-up as an example. If I can perform 10 push-ups, but I don't have very good form or position, guys, hit me up in the chat and just say position, okay? This is so important and so overlooked. If I can perform 10 push-ups, but I do it from a slouchy position and I kind of like wiggle my way through those reps like that, you know, you see people do that. And then fast forward a few weeks and I can still perform 10 push-ups, but now it looks like this with my chest up and my shoulders down, and I pull down and I snap back up and I pull down and I snap back up like that. That's a massive sign of progress. That is a form of getting stronger. That's maybe the most important one. As a matter of fact, if you do that one well, then the other ones will happen more efficiently. You'll be able to do more sets, more reps, more weight, and it'll feel a lot better. Does that make sense? Okay. You see this a lot with young athletes. They're like, I want to bench press a lot of weight. That's like all I want right now. That's great. Like, I think you should bench press a lot of weight. It's super fun. I like to bench press. Despite I'm not like a natural bench presser. Some people are like naturals. They just naturally do it well. That wasn't me. I had to work really hard to build up my bench to be reasonable. All right. But if you do that well, if you activate the right muscles, it's going to feel better. Whereas a lot of young athletes, all they're trying to do is move more weight. That's their only metric for progress. Well, I added 5 pounds to my bench in the last 6 weeks. I'm like, okay, but like you're always complaining about your shoulders aching, your elbows hurt, and it just doesn't look athletic. Like that might not be a big win if you're not activating the right muscles. But if you're activating the right muscles, then the weight will come, the reps will come, the sets will come, and you'll feel a lot better in your physical body, and you'll be able to do it for weeks and months and years without hurting yourself. Okay? So number one is to challenge yourself to get progressively stronger. Does that make sense? Let me know, guys. Hit me up in the chat. I'd like this stuff to be interactive. If you have questions, hit me up. Obviously, if you're watching live. If you're watching the replay, by all means, still drop your questions down there, and I will go back and answer them after the fact. Or if you have other questions that you're like, this is semi-related, but could you maybe answer this another time? I'll use that, and I'll create content moving forward to address those things. So it's helpful for me, and hopefully it's helpful for you too. Let's jump into number two. Okay, this alone is worth the price of admission today. I know it's free, but you know what I mean. And this is probably the thing that will change the way that you feel the most. Okay, so getting stronger, I think, should just be a foundational principle for our training. This, though, will change the way that you feel. You could go apply this principle today and change the way that your body feels. Not exaggerating. And here's why. You can be reasonably strong and still be really tight. Okay? Maybe you know people like that are pretty strong, like they lift a lot of weight, but they're tight and achy. This is the person that goes to the gym and it takes them like half an hour to warm up before they can lift, you know? And then they go out and you throw them a football and they're like, oh, I can't, why'd you throw so high, man? They can't raise their arms up because their lats and their pecs and their shoulders are tight. And if you race them to the mailbox, they come up, oh, they tweak a hamstring. We do not want to be that person, okay? We don't want to be strong but tight. We don't want to be bound up and have all that strength that we work so hard to build up be restricted, okay? This is the principle that will remove those restrictions and limitations off of your life, okay? So I'm gonna belabor this point because it's just that important. When I was playing college hockey, I was fit and strong. Like I was playing college sports. Like everybody comes semi-prepared, some level of prepared. And I really wanted to be better. I wanted to get better. I wanted to go on and play pro sports. So I was like very thorough, but I wasn't terribly athletic yet. I'll just be honest. I was reasonably strong and I worked hard, so I was fit, but I wasn't really an athlete just yet. I had to apply this principle and it changed my life forever. I went from being slow and unathletic, in the words of every hockey coach up to that point. Every hockey coach pretty much said the same thing about me growing up. They'd be like, oh, Will, yeah, nice kid. Hard worker, skilled, kind of slow. Yeah. So I had to work hard to like really become an athlete. And I had to think outside the box because the traditional training methods didn't do it for me. And I worked hard. I was super thorough, but it just didn't work. And so for me, I had to apply some outside the box methods. And this is one of those methods that will change your life forever, okay? So one example of this, and if you followed me on social media, you've probably seen this, is the ISO Extreme Lunge. Working from the deepest position of the lunge. And we build that up in the deepest position of the lunge for 1 minute, 3 minutes, eventually 5 minutes in the deepest position. And it's as hard as it sounds. I like to think of this as like stretching meets strength training. Okay? We want to get strong, but we also want to get very long. If you do this, it will unlock all that strength that you work so hard to build up, and it removes those restrictions. And this, again, is really the factor that will leave you feeling good. So if you've worked out in the past and you've been like, I'm trying to get stronger, I'm using heavier weights, that's great. But you're like, man, I'm achy. And like every few weeks I have to take time off because my elbows hurt, my shoulders hurt, my back is tight, my hips hurt, my knees, it's like a laundry list of aches and pains. I need you to start challenging yourself to get progressively longer from week to week and from session to session, okay? And from month to month. So fast forward a few months, you should be noticeably and measurably longer than you were before. And I know this is less easy to quantify, but you should feel better in your physical body. I like measurable things, but I'll be honest, I probably like the immeasurable things more. I'm big on how I feel. And I get that that can be harder to measure. But like, I want to wake up feeling good. I want to hop out of bed and have energy. I want to hop out of bed and be able to move. And because often my little girls come in and they want to jump on me. They want to wrestle and play. They want me to pick them up and throw them around and spin them around first thing in the morning. And if you're tight and achy and you can barely get out of bed, and then your 8-year-old daughter and your 5-year-old daughter jump on you, which I want to be the fun dad. I don't want to have to say, no, Dad, you can't do that. But if you're not prepped for that, they're going to break you. And then I want to be able to go out and I want to pick my wife up and I want to love on her too. I want to be strong for everybody around me. I want to feel good. And I want to be able to do that without a half an hour warm up before I can get down on the ground and play with my kids. It's a big deal. All right. So this factor is the one that will change the way that you feel. And honestly, you could go out and train today. You'll notice a difference in 1 to 3 sessions. No joke, no exaggeration. I know that because I did. I remember feeling tight and achy and bound up, like I was working hard, trying to get stronger, but always kind of fighting off tweaks. And then I remember how I felt after those first 1 to 3 sessions, and then certainly fast forward a few months, and I felt like an athlete for the first time ever. Oh my gosh. It was so good. I remember the exact moment. I'm not exaggerating. I was playing hockey at Arizona State. I was in practice, and we were just doing drills, and I was skating, and I was sprinting. I was going fast, and I was fast for the first time ever. And it felt easy to go fast, whereas before when I tried to go fast, I felt like it was so much effort. Anybody feel like that, where you just feel like you're working so hard? That's not how it's supposed to feel. It's supposed to feel relaxed and easy and good. And I was like, in the middle of the play, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm fast. Oh. And it was so much fun. So here we go. Quick recap before we jump into the final principle here. Number 1, I need you to challenge yourself to get progressively stronger from session to session and from week to week. That could be more sets, more reps, more weight. It could be activating the correct muscles more powerfully. That's like our foundation. Number two, I need you to challenge yourself to get progressively longer from session to session and from week to week. This is like stretching meets strength training, because we don't want to be strong but tight. We don't want to be strong but bound up. We don't want to be strong but restricted. We don't want to be strong, but it takes us half an hour to warm up so we can actually use that strength. Okay? This making sense? You guys ready for number three? Before we do that, quick commercial break. I want to give you all some gifts today, if that's okay. Number one, everybody that's live on this, and I'm going to send out the replays. I'll send out a proper email with these links as well. But everybody that is registered for my live is going to get a link for a first month free in my coaching app. This is probably my favorite all-time tool that I use for coaching, and it's a fan favorite among my clients. This is called TrueCoach. This is the app that I use to actually deliver workouts, and it's amazing. You get directions and descriptions. You get video demonstrations from me. You can message back and forth on there and say, this is hard, this is easy. Hey, my knees are feeling better. You can even upload a video of your sets so that I can coach your form. It's amazing. So this is not like you get online, you download a PDF workout, and you're just like on your own. This is direct coaching from me as you go through these progressive programs. This gives you access to all of my bulletproof joint protocols. So shoulder protocols, back and hip protocols, because they go together. The hips and the back affect each other. Knee protocols, elbow protocols. If you're like me and you have elbow pain, lateral epicondylitis, medial epicondylitis, so tennis elbow, golfer's elbow, from like my years of Ninja Warrior and hockey and all that stuff. And then also foot and ankle protocols. If you have aches and pains, this is the quickest way that I have ever found to get free of those aches and pains. Many of these programs I created myself because I couldn't find what I needed to get myself free from aches and pains. Like the elbow protocol specifically, man, I had lateral epicondylitis, so golfer's elbow, for years. And I would train hard. I was an example of what I was just talking about. I would train, I'd bench press, then my elbow would get sore and I'd have to take a few days off or a week off and then do it again, then it gets sore again. I'm like, man, what am I doing here? This is not working well. And so I was trying to find all these ways to like get out of elbow pain, and nothing worked. I finally was just like, I need to like think and use my brain, use my years of experience and create this out of scratch. And that's what I use now. And now I don't have elbow pain anymore, and I can go bench press hard and heavy and feel great. Praise the Lord. And now I get to help other people do that too. So you get access to all of my bulletproof joint protocols. You also get access to athletic reprogramming, which is my main flagship program, which is like a progressive strength program mixed with all these healing restoration methods so that you can enjoy getting stronger, feeling more athletic, seeing your body change without breaking yourself down, with actually restoring and refreshing and renewing your body as you get stronger. It's brilliant. Okay? So everybody is going to get a free first month to the coaching app. Or the other branch of my business is called personalized remote coaching. Okay, so whereas the coaching app is great for people that are already going to the gym but need better workouts, or they have aches and pains that are keeping them from doing the things that they love, keeping them from working out, or keeping them from playing sports or playing with their kids, this is ideal for you. For people that need an overhaul, they need a real transformation. They want to grow muscles, shed fat, get free from joint pain, have more energy, love their workouts again. Jump into personalized remote coaching, because this is where we go deep. And we cover training, nutrition, sleep protocols, mindset stuff. It's a complete overhaul. Okay? Now, I build these programs from scratch for everybody. So if you're interested in that, I want you to comment game plan below, and I'll send you a link to book a game plan call with me so that we can talk about it and what would be most appropriate for you. Okay? So if you're like, I just need better workouts, jump into the coaching app and just love training again. If you're like, I need help with nutrition, I need more accountability, I need the overhaul, then comment game plan and we'll get you on a game plan call so that you can see what that would look like. Okay? All right, commercial over. Let's jump into the third and final component today. This is probably the biggest factor that separates people that feel young and good versus people that feel old and bad. I want you to think about this. You ever see a kid get down to play on the ground and they're just like, boop, they just like plop down there. There's no tightness, there's no tension. They just do it. You ever see an old person try to sit down in a chair and they go, ah, like that? It's no judgment. I just don't want that for you. I want you to feel young and good regardless of your age or background. I want you to feel young and good whether you're 25 or 85. And it's possible, but you do need the right tools. So when you are ready, now notice I said when you're ready, I don't want you to do this too soon and hurt yourself. That's the people that I described that go out and just play their sports and end up injuring themselves. Their body's not prepped to do that. I want you to be fully prepared. So I want you to build up strength. I want you to build up length. And then when you feel confident, when you feel ready, if you're working with me, I'll build this into your programs for you and with you. When you're ready, I want you to start moving fast in your training. We do things like Russian lunges where you're in the lunge position, you jump and you land back in the lunge. We do full body off the ground push-ups. We do rebound plate front delta raises where you throw a plate up in the air and you catch it. And again, that stuff can be scaled whether you're an elite athlete or you haven't trained in years. But when you're ready, we're going to build up strength and build up length, and then I need you to start moving fast. This is like the fountain of youth as far as training goes. This will change your life forever, and it will help you retain genuine athleticism for decades to come. Okay? So this is what lets you feel good. And again, it's also what lets you go out and play sports and do fun things, which I think that you should at every age and level. One cool thing that's come out in social media in the last few years is there's so much more content and footage of people at all ages doing legitimately athletic stuff. Not like athletic for their age, but like legitimately athletic stuff. I saw this race the other day, and it was like a seniors track and field event or track and field division. And it was these guys, and they were over 60, and they were competing in the 100 meters. And the guy that won it did it in like 11 something, like 11.4 seconds or something. And the other guys weren't far behind him. I mean, that's like college level speed. He was blazing. I saw the video, and he's turning his legs over. I was like, holy crap, dude. That guy has probably been that fast for 40 straight years and hasn't lost a step. And I was like, dude, I saw a video the other day of this guy. He was like 66 and just like wanted to learn gymnastics for the first time ever. And he was learning how to do his back tucks in his mid 60s. I was like, dude, good for you, man. Good for you. There's no reason you can't do it. And I want to give this disclaimer too. It's not just if you are really fit in your 20s and you sustain it. I also see people online and also my own clients that are not fit and they start training in their 50s or 60s or later. That guy Richard, who's 87, was not fit when I started working with him. And so it's not like you have to have it when you're younger and you have to maintain it, though I think that's obviously the best policy. But you can certainly gain it or regain it later on in life. Okay? You can do this. You can do this if you apply these principles. You challenge yourself to get progressively stronger. You challenge yourself to get progressively longer. And then also, when you're ready, you move fast. This is how training works to get free of aches and pains. This is how you get free from joint pain in 2025. And I'm going to leave you with one last thought here to kind of put all this together. Going back to my initial example of people that injure themselves and they either just quit. You know, people that say stuff like this. I have these conversations a lot. People will be like, I have shoulder pain. Can you help me? I'll be like, yeah, of course, man. We fix shoulders all the time. How did you injure yourself? And they'll be like, I heard it playing high school football. And I'll be like, wait a minute, you're 45. You mean like 25, 27 years ago? And they're like, yeah, I tweaked it a long time ago. And I just I don't shoulder press anymore. I don't lift my arm up above here. I don't throw a football. I don't do any of that. And I'll be like, oh my gosh. So they just haven't used that range of motion or those movements, or really that arm, in like 2.5 decades. You don't want to be that person that just doesn't do the thing anymore. And I get it. Like, it's scary. You have pain when you lift your arm up. You don't want to have pain, so you just stop lifting your arm up. But here's what I want to leave you with. Rather than just not using it, I want you to engage the movement in the greatest pain-free range of motion that you can. I don't want you to work through pain. This is not about being foolish. This is about being strategic. So let's say you do a movement like this, some sort of an external rotation. This is pretty classic for rebuilding shoulder capacity because it teaches the muscles of the mid to upper back, the muscles surrounding the scapula, to activate, which is really important. If they don't work well, they don't activate, then your shoulder will kind of hang down and forward like this, and you'll get shoulder pain. Okay, so we want to teach those rotator cuff muscles, the muscles surrounding the scapula, to be strong and active, to hold things in position. Okay, so maybe we're training an external rotation, but let's say you have an injury or aches and pains or just tightness, and you can only use this small range of motion, and if you go further, oh, that hurt. I don't want you to work through pain, but what I do want you to do is train the greatest pain-free range of motion that you possibly can. Guys, hit me up in the chat. If you take just this one nugget away, this will change your life. Say the greatest pain-free range of motion. I want you to train the greatest pain-free range of motion that you possibly can. And it might be really small. It might feel silly. You're like, is this doing anything? It is. I want you to accomplish a bunch of quality reps in that pain-free range of motion. I want you to jump into the coaching app and start using the bulletproof shoulder protocols. And then from session to session and from week to week, I want you to challenge yourself to use a greater range of motion, okay? And the next session, use a little more range of motion. There's my other arm, okay? And then fast forward a few weeks and months, you feel like you weren't doing anything in the beginning. And then all of a sudden, fast forward 30 sessions, and you're like, I'm actually training again. I'm using my arm. Look at me go. I'm using my shoulder. Okay? And then fast forward 3, 6, 12 months, you're going to be like using this whole range of motion. You're going to be back to where you were before you got injured. And then the magic happens when you get even better than you were at the beginning. You're stronger than you were so that you never get injured again. So it's not enough to just avoid the area and wait till you get pain-free. We have to engage the movement that we can't do in a pain-free range of motion and then challenge ourselves to increase that range of motion from session to session and from week to week. This is how you get free from joint pain in 2025. This is how you remove those limitations off your body and those restrictions that hold you back so you can go play sports, run around with your kids, live life to the fullest. If this is helpful for you, guys, just hit me up with some fire emojis if you're feeling empowered. And then last thing here, as I mentioned, everyone is going to get a free first month of my coaching app that houses all of my bulletproof joint protocols and also my flagship program, Athletic Reprogramming, which is a strength program mixed with all the healing restoration methods. It's unlike anything else I've seen. It's brilliant. Okay? Also, I want you to comment game plan. If you're thinking to yourself, that's great, I definitely need workouts, but I also need nutrition. I need all the lifestyle stuff. And we'll jump on a game plan call together, and I'll show you how that works. Okay? If you do personalized remote coaching with me, you also get all of your supplements, your first month of supplements. I buy them for you, so you get that for free. All right, so that's like included in personalized remote coaching, which I think is super cool, just because I like to bless people and I like to make sure that you're set up for success, okay? So everybody's gonna get the link for the first month free of the coaching app. I also want you to comment game plan, and I'll send you the link to schedule a game plan call with me, and we'll go deep, and we'll make sure that you're just wildly set up for success. All right? That is it, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me today. I genuinely appreciate you. It means a lot to me that people get on these these live events, that people interact on social media, that you ask questions and share with your friends and like and comment and do all that stuff, that you read my emails. Like, it really blesses me to get to do this stuff, to hopefully make your life better, to empower you, to remove the limits off of your life. That's really what I love doing. I appreciate you, my friends. I believe that your best days are ahead.